By devoting just 6 minutes each weekday for 1 year, you can read through the entire New Testament using David's servant's daily devotional, HeavenWord Daily. Order your copy at heavenword.tv.
Great to be together again. Thank you so much for joining me as we continue our chronological study through the entire New Testament. We're back in James chapter 2, James's famous passage about faith and works. Certainly a passage that has been debated over the centuries and had a lot of people scratching their heads and a lot of church splits as well over this passage. So we're trying to come to a balanced understanding of what James is saying without in any way perverting what he's saying. Because I have to tell you, I think a lot of the modern day commentary that we read on James is just that. It's just taking what James said and saying, well, James didn't really mean that, and we shouldn't think that James meant this because Paul said this, and so on and so forth. And I don't see any contradiction whatsoever with James and Paul. When you read everything that Paul had to say about the necessity of works in order to gain eternal life, it agrees perfectly with what James is saying, okay? What Paul was so often fighting in his explanations of faith and works were the works of circumcision and the other ritualistic aspects of the law that certain Jews were promoting as being absolutely necessary for gaining entrance ultimately into heaven and inheriting eternal life. Okay, but we'll discuss that in more detail as time goes on. I want to start today once again in James 2 and verse number 15, just to make sure that we're not misinterpreting this and putting a load of guilt on ourselves that we really don't deserve. If a brother or sister is without clothing or in need of daily food. Now stop there for a second and just think about, how desperate this needy person is without clothing. Not necessarily totally naked, but doesn't have enough to keep themselves warm in a cold environment. And in need of daily food. So this person is hungry right now. Now, you, like myself, have probably seen people standing along the road somewhere, maybe in your city or town, someone saying, homeless, please help. And what they're asking you for is stop and give them some money, because we're always suspicious of what that money is ultimately going to be used for. And, this person, obviously, they say hungry, please help. And you look at them and, they could go without eating for weeks or maybe even months and they'd still survive because they obviously, have eaten plenty in the past. They've got excess body weight. So it's hard to feel sorry for those people. But I want to point out that that's not who James is talking about here at all. First of all, if a brother or sister. Now, in the context of which James was writing, and again, that's why it's so important that we understand the context. James is writing to a persecuted, dispersed group of Jewish Christians who probably, if we're correct on this, had to flee their livelihood, flee their homes in Jerusalem because of the persecution in connection with the martyrdom of Stephen. And so they've got people who are in their midst who are really, really hurting. Again, lost their homes, left their jobs behind, their livelihoods. They're living as refugees and vagabonds, as it were, and, in real need. And you've got two coats, and your brother or sister who comes to the same gathering as you do is shivering over there. If you don't give that person one of your coats, come on, how does the love of God abide in you? John asks in his epistle. And if that person is coming to the meeting, or you find out that, they haven't been able to find any food, nobody's had any mercy on them, no one's offered them a job, but you have, some income or some means or some savings, well, of course, you need to meet that pressing need. That's altogether different than, a lot of what comes under the banner of charity today. If you've ever worked in a place where they serve meals to the homeless and so forth, you soon learn that many of those people don't want to have homes, and they're, happy need to keep living off the charity of other people who do work, and they don't want to work, and they like their lives of ease and their irresponsibility, and they're not taking responsibility for their bad decisions that have left them in those situations. And, it's just the more you work in those types of things, you become more and more jaded over time because you realize, wow, we're not really helping these people at all by continually giving them handouts and free meals. We're just empowering them and enabling them to stay in this lifestyle of irresponsibility, and that makes us partly responsible for their irresponsibility, because we're making it all possible by not requiring anything of them. And so better to say, you need food? Okay, well, mow my lawn. And I'll pay you a fair wage, or I'll think of a job that you can do that really doesn't even need done, but just to help you, I'll offer you an opportunity to earn some money, because that's how people get money. They earn it. In the situation in which James was talking about, altogether different. And I think in Matthew 25, where Jesus talked about the judgment of the sheep and the goats, I was in prison and you visited me. Well, what are Christians doing in prison? Because it was not just anyone in prison, it was the least of these, my brethren. Well, these are persecuted Christians. And why are Christians hungry? And why do Christians not have adequate clothing to keep them warm? Why would they be thirsty, for goodness sakes, unless they had been, driven from their homeland, or maybe there's a drought or something, but it's just very rare. And here at the Ministry of Heaven's Family, which I'm so blessed to direct, we realize that we've had to essentially go outside, way outside the borders of the Disneyland that we are all living in, the United States of America, to find people, the least of these, brothers and sisters who really have these kinds of pressing needs. And they're hard to find. Honestly, if you go to refugee camps, of course, the UN is often there, but we focus on trying to find these kinds of people. And we help a lot of people who are not quite this desperate, but just trying to help them, get out of their poverty. But still, they're not lacking clothing or daily food, but some get pretty close, okay? But we want to help them, and especially if they are our brothers and our sisters, okay? But the main point here, and we'll continue on this next time, James says, faith, if it doesn't have any works, it's dead, being by itself. That's James 2 and verse number 17. So we get together next time. Now we're going to finally get to verse number 18. It's going to be great. And I'll see you next time.
HeavenWord 7 is made possible by the financial support of viewers like you. Thank you.